this. I love the fight. Wasn't the best game that you've ever played? Clearly was one of your worst offensive performances, probably that we've seen in quite some time in a lot of the things that you did. You cannot go into a game where you're playing the fourth-ranked opponent in the country and you can't jump off sides. You can't make mental mistakes. You can't get out of your game plan when the game gets close. The moment can't ever be too big for you. And a lot of times tonight, the moment yet again is too big for you. We are, meaning LSU, is one of the worst red zone offenses in the country. Throw every metric and statistic out on how bad you are. Guys, you changed coaches this past 2 weeks. Brian Kelly got out. Joe Sloan got out. And you still found ways to completely ruin perfectly executed opportunities for you to win the game on the road against a top 4 opponent. You went on the road and you fought your ass off. And with all due respect to what anyone wants to say about tonight's game, you fought your ass off. Defensively, as we talked about during the week, especially on Thursday, I loved the matchup for you. I loved it. I thought that Blake Baker would be able to, as we discussed on Thursday's Keys to Victory. Listen, this isn't a scrambling quarterback. They ran Ty Simpson once, and it went for 17 yards. They probably should have done it more, so you really hadn't fixed that. But the matchup defensively was really good for you. Because if you can't score touchdowns, if you keep jumping off sides, if you keep having fumbles, if you are too scared to throw the ball to Xavion Thomas as the end of the second quarter is happening, you're going to lose. When you are making good throws, like Kyle Parker having 2 drops, Michael Van Buren making the perfect read when you're down at your own 2-yard line when they send a blitz and Trey'Dez Green is wide open. You can't drop the ball. Every single time that you do something positive this season, regardless if you are shooting yourselves in the foot, whether they are doing things to make sure that they're going to slow you down, whether you are really doing good things, but you get down to the red zone and you can't score because you keep shooting yourselves in the foot, self-inflicted wounds, you're putting out a tight end who, guys, in 19 catches has 2 fumbles. Maybe he shouldn't be in the game. It's a personnel issue. It's a coaching issue. It's a, quite honestly, do you have any idea what you're doing issue? So we're going to break the game down here tonight in its entirety like we do in every post game. But listen, I'm not mad. I mean, it went exactly how I thought it would go. Tonight's game went exactly how I thought it would go. Now, I did think you would score a touchdown. I did think you would score a touchdown. Didn't think you would have to result to 3 field goals. But there had been a sentiment over the last 3.5 years that Bama was burning, A&M's not doing the right things, they're Texas 8-4. Oh, man, we're a better program than Ole Miss, which we are. Name the narrative coming out of Baton Rouge. And the truth of the matter is LSU now with firing Brian Kelly, firing Joe Sloan, benching your starting quarterback, a fifth-year starting quarterback. Guys, you are in rebuild mode. Doesn't mean that you can't find somebody from the coaching perspective that can't Curt Cignetti this thing. Now, I do feel like that's a pretty big stretch considering Curt Cignetti had a very light schedule his first year in Indiana, but they do continue to win. You are in rebuild mode. Your offensive line is not good. Your play calling, quite honestly, was not good. Screen right, screen left, screen up the middle. Cha-cha now, y'all. To the left, to the right. One hop this time. I mean, that was your entire first half game plan was the damn cha-cha screen slide. I mean, like what? You're in full rebuild mode. Full rebuild mode. Brandon tells me we're a little fuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy was the bear. All right, stand by. All right, are we good now? Brandon, we're good now? All right. Nevertheless, we're live. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Every AYS postgame show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. You know, I think of FanDuel right now as the closing line for this game ended at Alabama minus 10.5. In the minus 10.5, LSU lost by 11. Do you think FanDuel knows what they're doing? Because they do know what they're doing. We are gladly partnered from our good friends over at FanDuel. Do us a favor, download the app. If you're on Android, Apple, iPhone, wherever you have an access to downloadable apps, I'm pretty sure FD Sportsbook would be there. The number one sportsbook inside the state of Louisiana. We're greatly partnered with them this football season. Do us a favor, download it. We greatly appreciate it. All right. There's a couple of ways to get into the show here. You can send in super chats, become members on the member on the YouTube channel. However you want to do it, that's completely up to you. If we get to it tonight, you know we try to take live phone calls. If we can, we can. If we won't, we won't be able to. So you can do that. But send in super chats, send in comments. If you want to be involved in the show, I think tonight's going to be a pretty, maybe not that long one. Maybe not that long of a post game. People might be checked out when it comes to the actual game here. But nevertheless, that's how you can do it. Do us a favor. I'm going to keep saying this. Subscribe. Do us a favor. We're trying to get to 15,000 subs by the end of Christmas. So do us a favor. Hit the like and share, and everyone do us a favor and subscribe. Let's get moving to it. So LSU, for the first time in 12 games, would win the opening coin toss. You want to talk about a regime change? Well, there's regime change comes, but by the last 12 times that you've taken the film, you have not won a coin toss. Tonight you did. And LSU would defer to the second half. And, you know, what's interesting, I felt like that you knew how this team was going to respond from the opening kick. Is this team going to rally around Blake Baker? Are they going to rally this defense around Blake Baker, I should say? Is this team going to rally behind Frank Wilson? It's going to show up in the first drive. Let's get to it here. So LSU started off the game with a reverse. A.J. Hawsey ran it down for 2 yards. Look, man, Ryan Grubb's a really good play caller, and they're going to open this thing up, put good, bad, or indifferent, and they're going to be unique in the run game because they have to. But it's how they started off a game after 2 weeks of not playing. Was a reverse to Brooks for 2 yards. Miller on a dive for 2, brings up 3rd and 6. Out route on for Jam Miller in the flat, runs up and out into the flat. Does the running back, goes for 9 yards. Devon Keys on the stop. Teams have attacked Devon Keys in coverage. I mean, we can point that out. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory here. Teams are going to continue to y'all got me in the chat? Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat if you got us. Because Brandon, you got me? Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat. Y'all got me? Okay, good. All right. Teams have attacked Devon Keys. Whit Weeks' absence has been a very glaring one for this defense. I don't think Devon Keys is a bad player at all. Bad player at all. What I do think is that coverage is not his strong suit at the current moment. Really good at attacking downhill. Really good at getting after the quarterback when you ask him to from the interior. Teams in coverage, they attacked him twice in critical downs. This was the first one. Got better as the game went on. Kind of tried to rotate some things in and out here. But when they did, it just, look, man, teams are going to attack him. I think of Vanderbilt attacking him with Eli Stowers. I think of him being attacked tonight in multiple situations. If he's going to be in there, it's going to be a thing for the rest of the season here. Teams are going to continue to attack Devon Keys, right, wrong, or indifferent. But it is a first down. Jam Miller on a dive for 8. Petra Payton in on the stop. Miller on a dive for 1, which brings up 3rd and 1. And a QB sneak for no gain. Really big this season. You know, we haven't really talked about Jacobian Guillory a lot. You know, Jacobian has been, in a lot of ways this season, a very massive piece for you in the interior. Teams from the running back run game perspective haven't been great against you. It's when you have somebody mobile like a K. Klubnik did in the first half against you, Diego Pavia, Marcel Reed, where you really struggle in the run game. Tonight, and as we discussed on Thursday, teams don't really run right at you and have a lot of success. Jacobian Guillory has been a massive piece to that addition. Look, right, wrong, or indifferent, there's going to be a lot of changes here. And in those changes, okay, I got to give Kyle Williams a lot of credit. This unit in the interior plays very physical. They play very purposefully. And I think that they played really well, to be blunt with you. I don't know if Kyle Williams makes it because of the coaching change. Maybe he does. Who knows? But they've done a really good job. A very, very good job has Kyle Williams in the interior defensive line. So 3rd and 1, QB sneak, no gain, Jacobian Guillory on the sack. And then on 4th and 1, they go for it. Miller on a dive goes for no gain. Weeks on the stop, and you force a turnover on downs. Talk about coming out after 2 weeks playing with your hair on fire. Hey, is this team going to quit? You know, you have so many questions when it comes to, like, you fire a head coach who's worth $53 million or $53 million. You have so much turnover, so much talk over the last 2 weeks. This thing got messy. This thing got political. How are they going to respond? And I don't really think that you could have started this game off in a better way responding, right? Like, you come out in a situation where you win the toss, you defer, they go for it on 4th down, and you get a massive stop. I mean, guys, that is how you go on the road against the number 4 team in the country, and you make a statement. And I thought your defense made a massive statement tonight in a lot of ways, over and over again, to be honest with you. What a great sign for Blake Baker. You know, because Blake Baker might get tossed around in this whole situation of, you know, is he going to get let go? You bring a new coach in. Who all knows? One thing that we do know is that his players are going to fight for him until the bitter end. Until the bitter end. What a hell of a way to start the game. You just aren't going to be able to do shit with it the entire game when they did some really good stuff. On the first play from scrimmage, Weston Davis jumps off sides. Now, Weston Davis would be benched later in the game for Ori Williams, so I don't think Ori had a bad game at all, if you want to be blunt, when Davis got pulled. But sign of things to come for LSU. Barry fumbled on the first dive. It would go forward and bounce toward a LSU gain there. Aaron Anderson would recover, and it brings up a third down. So Harlem Berry, the freshman, for the first time really getting his beak wet in a big game situation like this against Alabama on the road, and you get the start, and the first carry he gets is a fumble. Glad we recovered, but young running back, got to understand, man, the number one name of the game, you cannot turn over the ball. This Alabama defense and this Alabama team is a turnover machine. They are one of the top teams in the country in turnover margin, and they force a lot of fumbles. They try to get one early. They almost did. Play action rollout for Garrett Nussmeier. He hits a drag route to Nick Anderson. Man, that knee injury looked bad. I'm praying for Nick Anderson. For 17 and a first down. Really good call play. Hey, your offensive line stinks. Your quarterback is nervous inside the pocket. Really good play by Alex Atkins. Let's roll him out, get a drag route. They're in zone. You can throw the ball into the empty part of the zone and get a first down. Really, really, really good play call by Alex Atkins. Goes for 17. Durham on a run for 2 yards, then a run for no gain, which would bring up a 3rd and 8. You do the same thing again. Garrett Nussmeier on a rollout. He hits Aaron Anderson on an out route, and it goes for 10 on 3rd and 8 and a first down. So you start the game off in the first 2 throws of this, and you're moving the pocket. You're getting your quarterback out of the pocket to the throw side, and you're trying to get him a couple of really good reads, quick reads, and let Garrett make the decision. Good decisions. And he does. You only give him a couple of options. He makes some really good throws. Thought it was a great way, honestly, to start off the game here. So 2 rollouts go for 27 yards and some critical yardage for Garrett Nussmeier in this LSU offense. Brown on a screen goes for 10. Another really good play. They did not have numbers. So I was wondering, the first 2 plays really in the pass game, I was wondering how much Alex Atkins was going to have a say in what happens in the pass game. It really felt like Cortez Hankton still had a lot of input on what happened in the passing game tonight, if we're being blunt. That's neither here nor there. That's a conversation for during the week. I'm going to run that down. But I've already kind of started running it down a little bit. It seems like Cortez Hankton had a lot of say of what happened in the passing game tonight. But we'll see. We'll see when we check that out. Really good play to Barry and Brown. So 3 catches, 3 throws, I should say, for 37 yards, and you're moving the football. Juwan Johnson on a dive goes for 3 yards. Then you run a counter screen at Johnson that he catches and goes for no gain. So something that Alex Atkins, when he was a play caller at Florida State, did a lot was a lot of counter runs, whether it be pulling the backside guard and tackle, or whether pulling a backside guard and letting a inline tight end come around for the other block. I think it was a good play call in the sense of I'm sure they knew it was coming because Alex Atkins was going to be the play caller. Alabama just read it perfectly. They read it we know that, look, you ain't going to fool us. You ain't going to fool us. We know. And Johnson catches a counter fake play action screen that goes for no gain. I don't really hate the call there. 3rd and 7. You're getting into the red zone here and have actually gotten into the red zone here. 3rd and 7, Garrett Nussmeier's got to call a timeout. I have no idea why this is so dysfunctional. I do not understand. I don't understand why we are rotating. First off, I'll get to the Garrett thing in a minute. 6 weeks ago, I went to a press conference and asked Brian Kelly, basically asking him, can you stop rotating so much at the wide receiver position? He didn't change shit. Cortez Hankton's got to pick 4 guys and roll with it. Getting the play call in so late isn't on us. It's not. It's on that you do not know what you're doing from a coaching perspective. It's why I asked Brian Kelly 6 weeks ago. It's why he said, oh, well, we're going to change it. And he was asked that again 3 weeks ago, and it was all a lie. Because you need to find your best dudes and roll with those best dudes. Or figure out somebody who can rotate guys in better than what Cortez Hankton can. However, you were at the line of scrimmage here when the play clock hit 12. And Garrett called a timeout. I don't get it. So as much as I will put on Cortez, you're at the line of scrimmage with 12 seconds left. That's on you. I mean, when guys, it's like a child who is standing next to the stove who keeps putting their hands on the burner when the stove is on. Constantly and never learns. Run the play. If nothing is there, throw the ball away or check it down. Understand in your mind, I don't like this. I'm going to check it down or I'm going to go get yardage. It's not that difficult. Guys, it really isn't. You have a quarterback who is coming up on and maybe even surpassed close to 600, if not more attempts, well more than 600. It's probably like 700. He has 700 attempts throwing the football in his career. This is not new for Garrett. You grew up in a household around quarterbacks. This isn't new for you ever. That's on Garrett, man. Every time you get in the red zone, every time. Doesn't matter if you pay, well, you're paying $7 million to Scott Woodward and $53 million to Brian Kelly. Not even just throwing Joe Sloan. So $60 million worth of money that you're going to have to spend, and nothing fixed the red zone. Nothing. The only thing that remained there was the quarterback. And I got to be blunt. I have to be blunt here. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So you can get rid of the coaches and nothing changed. Somebody's going to have to tell me, like, what was the problem with 12 seconds left on the clock? If you don't have enough time to check out of it, live the fight another day. Your defense just got to stop. You get the ball back at halftime. Go get 3 points. From the first drive, you knew your defense was playing very physical. I mean, from that point on, it was like, dude, we're going to have some freakish plays tonight because mentally, offensively, we just don't know what we're doing. I got to be real with you. This is worse than the Ed Orgeron, Jake Pete stuff. Remember in 2021, this is worse. Remember y'all were mad at Max Johnson and he threw the ball behind his back? Yep, I remember. Guys, they actually scored points. They actually went into Tuscaloosa, ironically, in the same level of situation and played better defense, maybe not against a better offense. I'll give him that. But it did have Bryce Young on it. And they scored a touchdown and almost scored a touchdown on the last play of the game. This is worse. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine that. We're only through one possession offensively, but this is ridiculous. It's a big part of why Garrett got benched tonight, and he deserved to be. He deserved to be. That ain't on your offensive line. It's not. Not getting the play in is not an offensive line issue. Well, Blake, our offensive line's bad. Mother trucker. That ain't got nothing to do with you not getting the play in. But then when you're at the line of scrimmage with 12 seconds left, my God. I thought Sean McDonough said it best. You're just ass offensively. He didn't say ass. He said you're just really bad. He ain't wrong. So Nuss on a 3rd and 7 would scramble for 2. Why he tried to outrun somebody to the sidelines is beyond me. Get vertical. You line up for a 30-yard field goal, and Damian Ramos would shank it. I'm done. I've been wanting to see Aaron Burrell. So your defense makes a stop on 4th down, and you get nothing from it. It's a joke. It's a joke. I probably will start getting mad now. I probably will, because this is so dumb. So dumb. Second possession defensively. Bernard goes on a dagger route for 23 yards. Really big play, really good call by Ryan Grubb as LSU was in zone. Hill on a check down, it drops. The running back on a check down, it gets dropped by Hill. Screen in the flat over the head of Hill, which would bring 3rd down. So a couple really check down, dropped a miscue, and then a bad throw by Ty Simpson over his running back's head in the flat. So a couple of miscues by Alabama brings up a 3rd and 10. Pressure by Devon Keys. Simpson has to step up in the pocket, and he throws the ball away. So basically, you get a massive stop on 4th down. You give up a big play for 23 yards, and then 3 plays later, you're out of that drive. Gone. Defense is here. Defense is here. They've showed up. So I listen. I'm not saying anything about the defense tonight other than how good they played. Did they give up some big plays? Yeah. But I'm going to scroll through some of those big plays because, quite honestly, they played their asses off. And because you're so shit offensively, guys, they could have held that team to 13 points. They could have held them to 13 points if you gave them more time and you actually could go down and score. Joke. What a joke. So they punt the ball away, and LSU gets the ball back. Barry on a dive goes for 1 yard. Thomas on an RPO, counter RPO to the flat, goes for 3. Garrett should have given the ball in the RPO to Harlem Berry. They had two offensive linemen out. Thompson had picked up his guy, and Trades Green is sitting there to block no one. If you give the ball to Harlem Berry there, he might go for a 1st down, if not more. Bad read, another one, bad read, and you throw the ball on the flat for a whopping and a massive 3 yards to Xavion Thomas. Hey, know your keys, know your reads. If the edge guy is not pursuing, you hand the ball off. So let's walk through this like we're in elementary school. If the end on any read or RPO crashes down, you pull it. If he stays and he doesn't pursue or he doesn't come in towards you at the mesh point, then you give it. You cannot be worried about what happens on the blocks. Your read as a quarterback is what the end is doing and making sure where the safety guy is or linebacker, whichever one, how they line it up, if they're going down in the flat on the RPO. You make two reads. You take the snap. You read the end. All right, he ain't coming. Nobody in the flat. All right, well, I'm going to give the ball off. Or if they are in the flat, you give the ball off. Regardless, your read is the end. And if he's crashing down, you throw it. Or if that is covered, guess what you can do as a quarterback? Boo, 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 it's fucking Blue's Clues. You can run the ball yourself. It is a novel idea when you're making right reads. You don't there. Boo, boo, boo. Blue's Clues, you shit down your pants. Oh, 3rd and 6. Bauer Sharp on a middle screen. Perfectly executed, perfectly called. The problem was you threw the ball to Bauer Sharp. Fumble. Alabama football. Oh, here's what I don't understand. Whoever, and I mean whomstever, is over-rotating personnel needs to be sent through the door tomorrow. Meaning whoever is over-rotating at tight end, because it's not Alex Atkins. He is in the booth calling plays. He is not over tight end rotation. Why are you throwing the ball to a tight end not named Trey Green? Well, Blake, Trey Green had 2 drops tonight. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. You have an alien at tight end. An alien at tight end. And you're throwing the ball to a guy who in 19 catches has 2 fumbles and had fumble problems at Oklahoma. Why are you doing that? It's a great play call. Newsflash. Guys, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Alex Atkins is not over. I know this for a fact. Tonight, he is not over tight end rotation. Cortez Hankton is over the personnel that you see on the field. Why? That should be pulled. It's beyond dumb. Bauer Sharp does not need to play football for this university right now. He is making way too many mistakes. Way too many mistakes. I love the kid. No, he's a Southeastern kid. Went to Southeastern, went to Oklahoma. Love it for him. He does not need to play right now. You can't fumble the ball there. So you have a lot of really good plays that you called. You had a good middle screen. You had a couple of rollouts by the quarterback. He calls the timeout. He ruins the drive. Then another LSU mistake ends the drive. You know, it gets to a point in time where I feel like sometimes it's a mixed match bag of what is actually going wrong. Like, I look at the situation like, damn, those are some really good play calls by Alex Atkins. All right, well, the middle screen to the tight end worked. And you have personnel problems. Who's that on? You missed on Bauer Sharp. You missed. Can't happen, man. It just cannot happen. Oh. So Alabama gets the ball back in elite field position. 3rd possession by the defense. Devon Keys, who really disrupted the play the last series, gets Jam Miller in the backfield for a tackle for loss on the counter run for -2. Jam Miller in the flat, thrown by Ty Simpson. It is dropped by Jam Miller, which would force a 3rd and 12. Tamarcus Cooley on 3rd and 12 would come on pressure, and he would force Ty Simpson to throw the ball away in a 3-and-out kind of for your defense. So you got a turnover on downs. a big play and 3 plays, so close to a 3-and-out, and a 3-and-out that leads to a field goal because of a fumble. Defense came to play, man. Look, Blake Baker's a lot of things. Stopping a mobile quarterback while at LSU is not one of them right now. If you do not have a guy that is mobile, Blake Baker's going to eat you alive. He is going to eat you alive. Look, we talked about this religiously Thursday. You got to go for broke. This secondary is not bad. PJ Woodland made some really good plays. Don't like the PI, but it was a lot of really elite coverage when they're battling for the ball in that fader on that second to last play. You relied on your secondary. That's very good. And I love the pressure. And Ty Simpson does not like to – he can't run like that. Defense, what a hell of a first quarter. What a hell of a first quarter. They were – guys, were they completely perfect? No. That is elite as it comes. What they did in the first quarter, you can't do it any better, really. If I would have told you on Thursday that you would get a turnover, which it is a turnover, you would get 4 plays and a punt, and then 3 plays and a kick. In the first quarter, you'd be like, damn, man, this Blake Baker defense came out rolling. Well, they did. It just so happens that the second kick was given in such good field position that it leads to a field goal, and LSU is down 3-0. The defense balled in over these last 2 weeks. And listen, I don't know what's going to happen with Blake Baker. I'm not going to pretend to know about what's going to happen with everything at LSU. I do wonder what happens when Blake Baker's given a lot of better depth and better talent in some situations. Just elite shit, man, with your best player, one of your best players out. Mansour Delane's your best player. But elite shit. Very, very good stuff. You were well prepared, and you showed it. Third possession offensively. This is why I don't understand what we do offensively. So I don't mind going back to a guy that fumbled the football. I don't. But the first play after going down 3-0 is you throwing a screen to Bauer Sharp. Just makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. I don't understand it. I don't mind the confidence. But the players got to also give you the confidence. Like, for an example, if I'm willing to risk it with Harlan Berry because he's a young player. This is a fifth-year senior. But you throw it, screen, 4 yards. I guess it's good. Harlan Berry on a dive, run for 9 yards. Josh Thompson gets called for holding. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Brown on a screen goes for 12 yards and would end the first quarter. 3rd and 2, Harlan Berry on a dive goes for 3 yards and a first down. Good. Frank Wilson said coming in the game, we're going to run the ball. Good. You lined up, ran it right at him, got a first down. That's what you do. That's what you do. It's what you do. If you can't get 3 yards on 3rd and 2, you don't deserve to win the damn game anyway. Berry on a counter run goes for 37. So Harlan Berry has been a talking point for a lot of us when we've talked football over the last 2 weeks. This kid is going to be special, and you need to find the way to get him the football more. Guys, we have done such a horrible job at saying, hey, Harlan Berry might be good at football, and not getting him the football. Massive counter run by Harlan Berry. Really good block by Cohen Echols on the inside. Springs him loose. And he goes for 37 yards. Here's why I'm going to stop. I do not mind after a long run if a back needs to be spelled out for you to spell him out. Harlem Berry not coming back on the field on this drive pisses me off. With all due respect, and I mean this with all due respect, if you are a 5-star wide receiver and you are under 100 or under 200 pounds and you need to come off of the field after running for 37 yards, then you need to get better conditioning. I don't mind you spelling him for a play. I do mind him not coming back for the rest of the series. That is lunacy. That is complete dog water. That is Bourbon Street trash water during Mardi Gras. That is Dookie water bad. That is complete toilet seat ass. What are we doing? What are we doing? Guys, look, we like to take these games in one-game sample sizes, right? Like every game is its own game inside its own game. If you can't run the ball for 37 yards, get spelled for a play, and then come back, then you don't need to be out there. That's just what I say that to say everybody, well, Blake's talking bad about Harlem Berry. No, I'm not. Why did you rotate him out? For the first time, you have some life in the run game. You don't have to run the ball with him. Leave him in the game. You know why? Because you come back on the next play and you give KalenDeBoer a run and it goes for 1 yard. 1 yard. That is god awful. God awful. Durham on a run for 1. Yay. Green fade route completely overthrown, almost picked. Trey'Dez Green's got to knock the ball away. That brings down a 3rd and 9. Aaron Anderson on the middle screen goes for 8. He got hurt on the play. Kind of looked like he overextended his elbow or hyperextended his elbow, however you say it. LSU lines up for a 37-yard field goal, and they tie it at 3. I don't mind going for the points there. Listen, I know a lot of you would say, man, why not go for it there on 4th and 1? And I can understand where you're coming from, but I also understand on the road getting points. I saw a lot of people on social media questioning Frank Wilson not going for it there. I get what you're saying. I understand it because you really could go for broke. You're playing with house money. You're playing with house money. In playing with house money, I also understand trying to win the game. And if Frank Wilson was the permanent head coach, like not an interim, he would have kicked the field goal there. So when you get these interim tags for guys who want the job, like Frank Wilson probably wants the job, I don't mind him going for it. But you got to see what Frank Wilson would do in a critical situation. I look at what his defense did in the first quarter and say to myself, all right, you forced a turnover and basically back-to-back 3 and outs. Why in the good wide world would I not just take the points? I get it. You're kind of playing with house money. At the same time, I think it's the right call because how great you were playing defensively. And quite frankly, so what, it didn't pan out. Meaning you did give up a touchdown in the next drive. I mean, they were going to score anyway. You can make an argument for either. I don't mind the points there. Fourth possession defensively. You got Miller on a counter run that goes for 2. An RPO tight end screen to Cuevas that goes for 10. Cuevas in the flat goes for 7. So they're really attacking your linebacking core and safeties here. Cuevas on a wheel route on Devon Keys goes for 32 yards. So you got a counter run, a tight end screen, tight end to flat, and then a tight end wheel. They need to go get a touchdown. So we talked about earlier Jam Miller on an out route against Devon Keys. All right. This is what great play callers do. Ryan Grubb says the only real success that I've had is going after the linebackers in coverage. So what does he do? The next 3 plays, he attacks the one time that they had success on anything, and they go after it 3 straight times. So when you talk about, like, why does Joe Sloan get fired? Why are you so bad on offense? Why can't you get anything going? So for the first half of the game, first quarter of the game, you only had one real successful play if you're Alabama, and that was going at Devon Keys. What makes an elite play caller? All right, well, I attacked him. It worked. So I'm going to line up on the third series. Now that we're tied, we're getting into the game. We're going into the second quarter, and I am going to attack the one thing that we had success on. You get 10 yards, you get 7 yards, you get 32 yards. How does that work? So when we talk about elite play calling, when you talk about guys around the country who are elite at their job when it comes to play calling versus you firing an offensive coordinator, you saw it tonight. You saw it tonight. When LSU restructures itself, when LSU restructures who they are as a team, when they restructure as a coaching unit, when you're asked what you should expect from an offensive play caller, from whoever the next head coach is, that I can't get the ball moving in the first half. I've had one successful play attacking this specific player. And Nick Saban used to always say, players, not plays. Meaning, we're going to go after players or we're going to give our best playmakers the ball. Calls don't matter. Go after it and attack it with your best players. So they did, and that's how they had success. It's not a novel concept. It's not a wild concept. It's not even an LSU concept. Like, I think of Auburn as an example, and Hugh Freeze getting fired at Auburn and them exploding today offensively. Well, what did they do? They got 2 mammoths and Megatrons at wide receiver, one tiny and one big, and they went to their best players and they had success. So as LSU transitions here, we're talking about the Alabama game here, and I get it. As we transition into a new coaching staff, and you ask me what I expect from this coaching staff moving forward, whoever it is, that. Players, not plays. I end this part of this in saying, the bottom line is LSU's tenure right now, their era right now, their transition right now, they did not attack players. They thought that they had the better plays. They thought that they could outsmart everybody. They thought that they could do it on their own instead of getting their best playmakers in the game to give them the ball. Players, not plays. All right. Really good play ball calling by Ryan Grubb. Hill on a dive goes for 5 yards. Simpson flushed. He throws the ball to Williams in the flat, and it not in the flat. Throws a check down to Williams after he got flushed, dropped, and incomplete. 3rd and 5, Ty Simpson does not like what he sees. He calls a timeout. Novel that you could call a timeout and still have success. 3rd and 5, Bernard fade route. Still didn't really have success. I mean, you got bailed out. As P.J. Woodland would get called for a pass interference. So even their momentum got stopped when they called a timeout. You just bailed them out on it. Penalties were an issue. You know, I want to say this, and it's going to come off wrong, and people aren't going to agree, and that's okay. You got a lot of talent. Let me just say it like this. There's a lot of talent on the field for LSU at any given time, in any given moment. A lot of talent. And you see it with guys like P.J. Woodland, who's emerging. You see it with Mansour Delane. You see it with Harold Perkins' strip sack tonight. They have talent. When I remember the 2025 season, I remember it as you could do some you never achieved your potential, ever. Defense or offense. Because when the going got tough and you needed another stop, you kept making mistakes. Always. P.I. was a little soft if you ask me, though. Hill on a dive goes for 5 yards into the end zone and a touchdown, and Alabama leads 10-3. Gross. Absolutely gross. So Alabama takes the lead. 4 position offensively. Thomas in the backfield on the outside zone goes for no gain. Barry on a counter run gets tackled in the backfield for a loss. Ass. Aaron Anderson, middle screen, gets absolutely demolished. I don't even know if that was really a screen, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to go back and look at that one. If it was a screen to Aaron Anderson, why did Nuss flush right? If it's a screen, he would back up. Garrett Nussmeier gets flushed and he rolls right and hits Aaron Anderson. I guess because a couple of offensive linemen were around. Maybe it was just a drag route. I don't know, but he is flushed. I wrote down Destin Hill here. It looked like Destin Hill was on a dagger route, meaning an in route. He looked wide open to me. I'm not going to break that play down. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. I don't know what happened. What I do know that happened is you went 3 and out, and you would have to punt the football away. 5th possession defensively, Miller on a dive goes for 3. Play action out of the I formation, and a deep drag route for Jeremy Bernard goes for 32. DJ Pickett just, look, man, young player, got beat. Deep throw goes for 32. Really good coverage. I mean, just got beat on it, man. And look, he's probably not used to I formation, play action, man coverage, and Jeremy Bernard's a really good receiver. You knew they were going to hit some big plays on you, and it is what it is. Hill in the flat falls incomplete. Bad throw by Ty Simpson. Horton on a bubble goes for 5 yards, and on 3rd and 5, Miller in the flat on Divine Keys goes for 7. Attack players, not plays. Again, let's talk about it. They go after 42, right? They go after 42. Attack players, man, not plays. It's a mantra at this point. It is what it is. 5th drive continued. Brooks on a jet sweep gets tackled for a loss. -5 yards. Really good job at getting them behind the sticks on this drive. Miller on a screen. Hill on a screen goes for -3. West Weeks blows it up in the backfield along with Jack Pyburn, who make a really good stop. 3rd and 18, Alabama would call a timeout and would line up back-to-back times on 3rd and 18. Double pass from Bernard goes for 11. So right before the half, when they throw the double pass, they throw it to Bernard, they throw it back to Brooks. Brooks goes for 11. I mean, they're trying to hit you on a trick play. I mean, it's 3rd and 18. What else are they going to do? And they know that you're going to send pressure. Maybe they get you caught up in that pressure. I don't hate the call, but I guess it was executed. It went for 11 yards, but not enough. They'd have to line up for a field goal. 26-yard field goal for Alabama is no good. So, listen, man, did you give up some yards after you went 3 and out and the offense didn't give you really anything? It's a really big stand. They got to line up and kick a field goal, make them make plays. So 10 points through pretty much the entire half here. Really, really good job. Really, really good job getting the stop there. Make them make plays. They don't. Xavier Thomas on a screen for 2. Then the 2-minute warning. Screen left, screen right, screen up the middle. Screen right, screen left, screen up the middle. Cha-cha now, y'all. Turn it out. Cha-cha, real smooth. To the left. 3 hops this time. 2-minute warning. Durham on a check down goes for -1. Xavier Thomas was wide open on this one. There's going to be back-to-back plays here where Nuss missed Xavier Thomas. 3rd down. 3rd and 9 for Garrett Nussmeier. 3-man rush. Nuss has all day and misses a wide open Xavier Thomas and does not throw it, and he throws the ball away. Let's talk about this. This is what ultimately got Garrett Nussmeier benched. Let's talk about it. Greg McElroy on the call in the last offensive possession, not the kneel down for LSU. You have a 3rd and 9, and Greg walks through the play for LSU. Xavier Thomas runs a dagger, runs the deep end route. And in the end route, there is a window as Alabama rush 3, as Garrett stares down Xavier Thomas, where he's got to let the ball be uncorked. I understand this season has not been easy for him. Whether he has been injured, he hasn't been injured, he's playing hurt, he's not playing hurt, whether he's hurt tonight or not. Didn't look hurt to me. And he didn't really get hit a lot tonight either. He only got sacked once, I believe. And he was the reason he got sacked. Because that is really bad. Either you don't have the confidence or you just aren't seeing it, or you don't know what's going on. I don't know. Here's what I do know. I can't tell you what is going on in between the head or the helmet, the head, the ears. I can't tell you what's going on with Garrett. But guys, here has been the truth, because this is what ultimately got him benched. Like it, love it, or hate it, Garrett has not ever really been a good decision maker at quarterback. I know that I have had the persona from you that are currently watching, or you've seen clips of me, or you watch the show, or you just see stuff, or there's a narrative out there about me and what I think about Garrett Nussmeier as a quarterback. I think he's talented. I still do. I think he's got a really good arm, and when he's playing his game, has really good anticipation. Because I see, humbly, regression. Are things around him good? No, they're not. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that his O-line's good. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's got an elite run game. None of those things need to be pretended. However, when there are plays down the field, when guys are wide ass open, you as a fifth-year guy have got to hit that in critical moments and times. When we look at Garrett, regardless of what happens moving forward, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, what I think should happen moving forward and what will maybe happen moving forward. And I haven't seen Frank Wilson, and I have no idea what Frank Wilson has said about the matter, to be blunt with you. I don't know what he said. What I do know is, making sure Frank didn't say anything. Doesn't look like it. I wanted to make sure before we continued that they didn't say that he was or wasn't permanently benched. All right. When we look back on the Garrett Nussmeier tenure at LSU, you're going to see a guy who's been and always was very talented. But the bottom line truth is that decision-making constantly got him in trouble, and the lack thereof of good decision-making. He's put the ball in harm's way. It doesn't look like he's taken a lot of offseason seriously. I mean, guys, he looks like the same kid that, I mean, he's put on some weight, but I don't know if he's ever taken this seriously enough. If you want to be elite, you have to put in elite level work. You have to outwork everybody. I have been killed over this take. People like, Blake hates him. It is what it is. And now all of you are like, oh, man, he needs to, we need Michael Van Buren. A lot of you have been on that same page. Guys, the writing's always been on the wall. So here's how I take things. If I am really wrong, y'all let me know. Trust me, in the comments, you constantly let me know where you think that I'm wrong. What about this one? The writing's always been there. Last year it was there. The decision-making problems were there. The turnovers or the lack thereof doesn't change how bad the decision-making is. You got to hit Xavion Thomas there on the in route or the dagger route, whatever you want to call it. And I know Greg McElroy walked through it all. But, guys, this had been building for a long time. A long time. And if guys are not going to make decisions, and I know that Frank Wilson is on his ass about all of it. And we saw it live on our television screens. He needs to be, and he needed to be. This is something that's been brewing. Injury or no injury doesn't change the decision-making. Guys, that is a 10-yard throw. That is a 10-yard throw. Regardless, it's a 15-yard throw. It's got to be made. Bottom line, if he can't make that throw physically, he does not need to be in the game. If he's hurt where he can't make that throw, he does not need to be in the game. It's always been about decision-making and the lack thereof. Where people got away or people said, well, hey, or when the discussion of Garrett's turnovers and decision-making, the pushback has always been, well, Blake, he's a gunslinger. Okay. No, he's not. Not anymore. Not anymore. That's not a personnel issue. That's not a play call issue. That's a Garrett Nussmeier issue. Some of you don't want to come down that, well, Blake, it's been bad. Everything's been bad. But when you're put in a right situation, and especially when it's at a critical moment, you've got to execute on it. And you don't. You don't. Want to know why you've scored 25 points once this season on a P4 opponent? It's because of that. Is play calling great? No, it's not. Is O-line bad? Yeah, it is. But when you're given the ability, that's on you. Guys, this should have happened a month ago. If we're being blunt, this should have happened a month ago. Brian Kelly should have made the move a month ago. He certainly should have made the move after Vanderbilt. But it is what it is. Frank should have made the move to start the game. Michael Van Buren didn't get a lot of help, but at least he had scrambles to prolong drives. The numbers and the statistics aren't going to bear it out. Well, Blake, Garrett was statistically, he was better. Sure, statistically, he was better. But there's no way that you watch that game tonight and say to yourself, without a shadow of a doubt, who played better? Who is playing better? Like, guys, the Trey'Dez Green drop, the multiple Kyle Parker drops that we're going to talk about in the second half here, that, I mean, if you adjust it, I don't even know what Michael Van Buren was. I don't even know his statistics off the top of my head. You got to count 3 drops in it. I got to be real with you. This one's going to get me in a lot of trouble. I've been waiting to talk about this since probably week 3. The locker room wanted a change. They wanted a change. They've been wanting a change. The truth of the matter is, this has started since Louisiana Tech. You can fool the media. You can fool the fans. You can fool the coaches. You can't fool players. You never can. You never will. You never will. I don't know what Garrett Nussmeier's future holds. I don't. But he's going to get one more series, and it's not going to go over well. I don't know what they do. I know what I'd do. I would continue to roll with Michael Van Buren and see what happens. If it gets bad, go back to Garrett. He might not want you to, but you had to try something. You can't just keep ramming your head in the wall. That was bad, man. Him not hitting Xavier Thomas was one of the worst indecisions that I've seen. You're staring at him. It's like when my wife gets out of the shower, I'm just sitting there staring. It's like I see him first set of boobies for the first time. She showed me her boobies, and I liked them too. Deer in the headlights. Deer in the headlights. Heisman hopeful to benched. I want to add this in there too. I do hate it for him. I really do. I really, really do hate it for him. This sucks. We're going to get to this in just a second, but I want to point something out to you. How he reacted to getting benched also pisses me off. Michael Van Buren never left his side. And when Michael Van Buren went in, Garrett was laughing. I will show you the TV copy if you want it. He was laughing. And then when the offense was on the sidelines going over game plan, Garrett Nussmeier is seen on TV chatting it up with Patrick Kelly. Michael Van Buren never did that to you. Ever. I guess we'll just talk about it now. Ever. How you talk to Brian Kelly at the end of the Texas A&M game. Brother. I got to be real with you guys. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You can't run away from the situation. How you react to failure. Guys, I've failed so much in my life, and I made wrong decisions. Some of you have failed in how you've reacted to something. But as you mature, you got to understand, and a fifth-year senior's got to understand, I got to help Michael Van Buren here. And here's the thing. Guys, you're in a game. Nuss will get another drive here, but you're fighting for your life. You're fighting for your life. You have a chance to upset the number 4 team on the road. And you're getting into an argument with your head coach when it's your fault. Wasn't nobody else's fault. I don't know if this is going to end great, but it is what it is. 3 plays later, after Garrett does not throw the ball to Xavion, Brooks on an out route goes for 11, broken away by P.J. Woodland. Brooks on a deep post for 54 yards is completed also on P.J. Woodland. Here they come. Williams on a fade route in the slot for a touchdown. Complete backbreaker. You should still be on the field. Every time you do something bad then continues to happen to you. Again, you want to say, Blake, it's not all on Garrett. Guys, if you hit that, they don't get the ball back. And you got 4 downs at minimum to try to figure this shit out. There's a strong likelihood, a very strong likelihood that they don't get the ball back if you throw that. So let me paint a scenario for you. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you connect that. Even if you punt it, you're giving them the ball back maybe around 30 seconds. Maybe. 40 seconds. Maybe. Could they go down and score? They 1,000% could. 1,000% could. But God forbid, if you would have gotten yourself into field goal range, kicked a field goal, been down 10-6, and then coming out at half, you get the ball back. The lack of indecisions, you want to talk about like, oh, well, it's not, Blake, it's not that big of a deal. The fuck it's not. Just god awful football. Let me do this. Stand by. Stand by. I don't like when shit gets fuzzy around here. That's what she said. All right. There we go. Back on track. All right. So Alabama, in 3 plays after that, had a couple of big shots, would go up 17-3. LSU would get the ball. They would kneel it. And at halftime, it is 17-3 Alabama. God, you could have made this a game. Starting out the second half, LSU would put in Ori Williams at right tackle for Weston Davis. In the first play from scrimmage, he'd have a false start because, of course, he would. It's a tough situation to be in. Bauer Sharp in the flat on a rollout goes for 5 yards because, of course. Play action from Pistol. A inside slot hitch to Nick Anderson goes for 16 yards, and he goes out of the game with a knee injury. Praying for Nick, man. He's battled through a lot of injuries. That sucks. That sucks, man. You got to start thinking about your career and your life after this. But a deep dagger route or deep hitch route from the slot from Nick Anderson goes for 16. Barry on a counter run goes for 5. So you're really kind of picking some things up here to start the second half. Under center, play action, deep dagger for Xavion Thomas, and a catch, diving catch at that. What a hell of a catch by Xavion Thomas. Hell of a stretch out leap catch, and goes for 15. So really getting some things going. Loving the play action that you're rolling with here. They haven't seen that from you yet, and it's working on them. Barry Brown screen goes for -3. Xavion Thomas misses the block. Play action, roll out right for Garrett Nussmeier. He scrambles and gets his helmet ripped off. They get a 15-yard penalty and a first down. Look vicious. Garrett took one there. Good for him. That was a tough one. He took one there. But that was a very vicious play, very vicious face mask. His helmet got ripped off. Good for being tough and getting up there. Play action. Thomas in the flat goes for 7 yards. Tick, 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 tick. methodically moving the ball down the field here. Barry on a counter run goes for 5 yards, and you get into the red zone and you get into the green area and you line yourself up in 1st and goal. Here we go. Here comes a shitstorm. You ready? 1st and goal, Harlan Berry on a dive goes for 1. On 2nd and goal, a deep in route by Barryon Brown almost gets picked. 3rd and goal, Nussmeier would circle out right or circle out left, would run into pressure on a 3-man drop when the pocket is completely clean if he steps up in it, and he'll get sacked. I've never understood the rollout spin out for Garrett. I never get it. What I also don't get is him retreating on a 3-man pressure. If LT Overton wants to rush wide and Carius Kern pushes him on a 3-man pressure, I am not a rocket scientist, and I've never coached college football a day in my life. I would think that you might need to step up in the pocket. McElroy on the telecast showed and replayed the previous play. And he's getting on Garrett and talks about, listen, that is on Garrett there. He's got to step up. Go rewatch it if you wanted to see what we're talking about here. Because it's a 3-man pressure, and the nose is not getting any pressure whatsoever. You got interior offensive linemen standing around. Ori Williams makes a really good block on Pierre, the other edge. Step up in the pocket. The play before, you can't get so rattled that you almost throw a pick. Step up in the pocket and throw the football. Coming off, by the way, 47-yard field goal, for Damian Ramos is good. You're down 17-6. I know we just got done talking about Garrett. That got him benched. Him and Frank Wilson had an encounter on the sidelines. Then he goes to the chair. You see this on the TV copy and starts laughing. He got his ass chewed and he didn't like it. Michael Van Buren starts warming up. Listen, man, the bottom line truth is this is on you too. That sack is on you. Not hitting Xavier Thomas is on you. O-line bad? Yes. Wide receivers bad? Yes. Tight ends bad? Yes. Got to make the quarterback? Yes. Got to make the plays. You can't worry about everybody else around you. Garrett Nussmeier would get benched. Should have come 6 weeks ago. 7th possession defensively to start off the half. Bernard in the flat falls incomplete. It was drop. Peyton jumped off sides. The fade route by Ryan Williams is broken away by P.J. Woodland. I thought P.J. Woodland had a really good game. Can't jump off sides there. Miller in the flat goes for 1, goes for 1 and steps up 3rd and 4. Bernard on a dagger route, in route, goes for 16 yards on DJ Pickett. Again, they're going after Jeremy Bernard on a true freshman. That's just being prepared if you're Ty Simpson. Hey, man, all these corners are good, but maybe I can get one on this freshman on a 3rd and short here. Miller on a toss, left, goes for 2. Jack Pyburn on the stop. Brooks on a fade route falls incomplete. Maybe Mansour Delane should have been called for pass interference. He was not. 3rd and 8, Bernard on a post route. It is overthrown. And the Tigers force a punt. And you get the ball back. Guys, you had multitudes of opportunities here to win this football game. First off, it shouldn't be 17-6. It should be 10-9. It's what it should have been. The score should be 10-9 here for you to go down the field and get a score. So really good really good job by your defense, man. Did a really, really good job there. Eighth possession offensively. Michael Van Buren enters the game. About damn time. Zone read. Aaron Anderson, the flat, goes for no gain. Zone read by Michael Van Buren. He pulls it, goes for 3 yards. 3rd and 7. Thomas on a dagger route for 17 in a first down. Really good throws, really good catch. Very, very good catch by Xavier Thomas. And a really, really good play. MVB, zone read, roll right. Parker goes for 12 yards. It was reviewed and overturned. This comes the time where they review every fucking play. Michael Van Buren flushed or either rolled right, whichever one. I think he just rolled right, but Michael Van Buren rolled right, hits Kyle Parker in the chest at the first down marker, and it's dropped by Kyle. Can't do it. Can't do it. You drop the rollout, it's overturned. Michael Van Buren rolls right, hits you in the chest, and you drop it. People are going to look at the stats on Michael Van Buren and say he had a bad game. He did not. He did not at all. Really, really bad there. Can't drop the football. 3rd and 10, you call a timeout. Frank points to him saying it was on him. So Frank can't call a timeout there, man. 3rd and 10, Michael Van Buren scrambles for 9.5. And you would try to go for it on 4th and inches, and Carius Kern jumps off sides. So the first Michael Van Buren drive, he scrambles for 9.5. I will get him on him about that. Don't slide. I get it. You're trying to save yourself. Get the first down. Run the football. It's a shitty situation to talk about because for once you had a quarterback that would run the football. And is not scared to run the football and has the athletic ability to run the football. Bad thing is he slid a half yard short of the first down marker. Young quarterbacks got to be better than that. You cannot slide and start the slide until you get to that first down marker. Good play. Got to finish it. I wish he wouldn't have slid there. I wish he would have gone for it. I understand the thought process. Just coming in the game, not really completely warm. Want to get the feel of the game, get down, don't take any big hits. I get it. I don't mind the slide. I don't also like the spot either. Regardless of all that, you're 4th and inches. So you got to go get an inch. Literally, an inch. Carius Kern, the freshman, jumps off sides. I don't even know how to talk about this anymore. You're horrible. You're fucking horrible. I mean, good Lord. Good Lord. LSU punts the ball away. Look, I don't know what to say about that, really. I mean, I want to come down on Carius Kern, watch the football, big fella. First off, you have a big fella, a guard at tackle. Can't happen. But he's got to be there because the other guys on your offensive line suck. It's a freshman mistake, man, in a hostile environment. This kid's from Arkansas. He ain't ever been in this kind of situation before on the road. It sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. I'm just not going to come down on him. Michael Van Buren cannot get down. But here's another thing. Kyle Parker's got to make those catches. So you do something positive and you always find a way to fuck it up. It's like an alcoholic sometimes. Your offense is drunk, literally. Can't find a way to stay clean. God bless it. Anyway, you punt the ball away because you jumped off sides. Cuevas on an in route for 21 yards would go for 21 on Devon Keys. Cuevas in the flat for 1. West Weeks on the stop. Brooks in the flat for 8. DJ Pickett stops him at the line of scrimmage, broken tackle, and he goes for 8. Forced 3rd and 1. Bernard on a jet sweep goes for 3, and they get a first down. Hill on a run for 1, and it would be the end of the third quarter, so you start the fourth quarter. So really good third quarter off defensively. You force no points. You hold them to no points in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, you line it up, and here we go. Perkins on a strip sack and on the forced fumble gets the fumble recovery. Look, man, really good play by Perk. Gets hit by the running back, gets off of him, knows in the awareness, look, of Ty Simpson and knowing what's been happening in games. Look, it's a really good play for multiple reasons. It tells me that Harold Perkins knows that Ty Simpson's had a fumbling problem because he has. Teams that have pressured Ty Simpson have really gotten after him, have been able to force fumbles on him. It's Harold Perkins, man. It's just a really good play. You dial it up for him. You get him on a running back. He blows the running back up, and he makes a strip sack, and he fumbles his own turnover. Massive, massive, massive play when you're down 17-6. And you find yourself in a position now to go in and score and finally get a touchdown and make this a close game. Your defense is playing elite. Guys, I mean, really, if I would have told you coming into the game that you would hold Alabama to 17 points into the fourth quarter, you would say we might have a chance. We might actually have a chance. And you did actually have a chance. Kept squandering it. Michael Van Buren is flushed right, goes for 4 yards. Bauer Sharp. Michael Van Buren's pointing for him to block. He doesn't. He just lets the defender run right past him. What are we doing? Selfish. Hilton on the comeback goes for 11 yards and a first down. Michael Van Buren really threaded the needle on a couple of these throws on this drive. Looked really, really good. Durham on a counter goes for 2 yards. Michael Van Buren then scrambles and then missed Bauer Sharp. So he's flushed right. Bauer Sharp, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it could have been a better thrown ball, but I don't know what he's doing. 3rd and 8, false start by Carius Kern. Big fella's you got to pull him if he keeps doing it, man. Got to pull him if he keeps doing it, which leads to a 3rd and 12. Deep hitch or deep end, whatever. I don't know what the route was called. But 3rd and 12, a really massive throw by Michael Van Buren to Barrion Brown goes for 15. Another thread the needle moment. Listen, here's the thing with Michael Van Buren. One thing that he will do right now that Nuss will not. He can push the ball vertically. Massive throw threading the needle to Chris Hilton. Massive throw on 3rd down to Barrion Brown. I think that alone, that simple thing alone, the 3 things that he did on that drive. He got flushed. He got positive yardage. He threaded the needle to Chris Hilton. And then he made a very elite throw to Barrion Brown on a massive 3rd down. That alone is why really the scrambling part of it is a big deal. But how is it that you make a change offensively and then all of a sudden you're able to get vertical in the passing game? It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science at all. Massive, massive play there. False start by Carius Kern because, of course, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Michael Van Buren is sacked on a play action. I mean, he can't take that sack. Gonna live with it. 3rd and goal from the 22, Barrion Brown dropped a screen because, of course, cha-cha now, y'all. That's our new thing. Every time they run a screen, we're going to say cha-cha. I'm just going to say cha-cha to the left, cha-cha to the right, cha-cha up the middle. Cha-cha right this time. Barrion Brown jumps before the ball's even thrown. Not joking. 3rd and goal from the 22-yard line. and Harlan Berry on a dive that goes for 4. I guess I don't blame it. I mean, you're 22 yards out. The only thing that can happen with a young quarterback is that maybe he makes an elite throw. I would have thrown the ball there. He could have turned the ball over too. But you line up for a 37-yard field goal, and it is good, and LSU is down to 1 score, and it's 17-9. This is where shit started getting hairy. LSU defensively would force, after an inverted veer by Ty Simpson, would go for 17, so quarterback run goes for 17. Horton on a fade route, ball is caught between both players, between Woodland and Horton. If I'm not mistaken here, can be proven wrong. I'm pretty sure if both defender and offender catch the ball and hold on to it like that, they give possession to the offensive player 9 times out of 10, unless it's something that just forces that. And you would get a run for both for 1 yard, and you had 3rd and 9, and Williams runs an in route and it tips his hands, and they're forced to punt. So another big stand from your defense. So listen, right now defensively, through the second half, well into the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter, you have held this Alabama offense to no points. So through 20-plus minutes in the second half, they have a big fat goose egg. Alabama would punt the ball to the 2-yard line. Ball looked like it went in the end zone to me, but what do I know? And it was basically the ball game from here. Basically. Because you had to go on a drive to win it. 98 yards to go and win it. Or I say win it. 98 yards, to go and tie it. It is 11:41 at night. Do the unthinkable. You won't. So they punt the ball down to the 2-yard line, and this is the ball game right here. Ball game. Berry on back-to-back runs goes for a total of 1 yard. And on 3rd and 9, Trey'Dez Green, when Alabama is sending pressure, the guy that looked like he was covering Trey'Dez Green started to come on a blitz. Michael Van Buren sees it. Perfectly called play by Alex Atkins. And the ball is dropped by Trey'Dez Green. Oh, my God. Oh, sweet Jesus. I don't get it. First off, Trey'Dez Green had 1 target until this one through the entire game. I'm not sure that any LSU game plan ever can be where Trey'Dez Green gets his 2nd target at the end of the 4th quarter. Drop or no drop. That's number 1. You can't drop that, man. It's the ball game. You convert there. Maybe you put a drive together. You got to go for it on 4th downs multiple times. You can't go for it on 4th down right there because you give them the ball back at the 2-yard line. If you don't convert, then all hell breaks loose and you definitely lose the game. Execution. Look, I think that you've been really good on defense this year. Have you had moments? Yep. Was A&M a moment where you weren't great? Yep. Was Vanderbilt? Yep. Have you been pretty damn good defensively for the most part? Have you gotten a lot better defensively for the most part? Yes, you have. You know, The dysfunction on offense needs its own 30 for 30 by ESPN. It needs its own 30 for 30 because I see I see one of the lowest standards of LSU offense I've ever seen in the modern era. I mean, guys, at least Jake Peets and them can score touchdowns against a team that won the SEC, by the way. That Alabama team that they did that to, by the way, in 2021, they won the SEC and got to the national title. It's a joke, man. It's just comically bad. The only points that LSU defensively would give up would be on the next possession. And they'd kick a field goal. And from that point on, it was ball game. So, all in all, I love the way that you fought in this game. I do. I love the way that you did things, some things. I love how your defense fought for 4 quarters. They gave up 3 points in the second half, guys, and it wasn't enough. If I would have told you at any point during last week, hey, there's going to be a half where Bama scores 3, only 3 points. Guys, the truth of the matter was, defensively, you were good enough tonight to win that football game. What hurts is, and what happens in most Alabama games, ironically, at least not last year's, you have a lot of talent, and you just find a way to come up short offensively. It is the age, the tale as old as time. I love your fight, man. I love that you came out there swinging. It just offensively wasn't enough. Moving forward, I am playing Michael Van Buren. I'm glad that Garrett gave it everything he had. In today's society, a lot of guys would have transferred. They would have. But man, it's a new. We got to move forward. I don't think offensively you'll get better. I mean, maybe Michael Van Buren gives you more of a spark. Next week you play Arkansas. Their defense is god-awful. Maybe you can score a touchdown for a change. I'm sticking with 11 and praying to God that I can figure anything out. But that defense, that offense you're going to see next week is not going to score 20 points. They're going to score more. You're staring a 5-7 season in the face. 6-6 season in the face. Not good, man. Not good. All right. Let's get to some comments here. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. All of you on YouTube right now, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Let's get to these super chats. Alexander Taylor says, this doesn't change my stance. Michael Van Buren over Nuss. Yeah, I mean, statistically, it's not going to bear it out. I'm with you. I would stick with Michael Van Buren. Arctic Tiger with a $2 super chat says, oh, Starf refuses to try to get touchdowns, fire everyone. Yeah, I mean, listen, that is a joke. That is a plumb joke. I don't know what really to say to that, man. I don't really know what to say to that. So it's a joke. Trying to see if Frank said anything about the quarterback situation. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I need to go listen to it. We'll go listen to it. Brut337 with a $5 super chat says, Nuss laughing on the sidelines while losing pissed me off, Blake. That's not number 18 worthy. Shouldn't start again. I got to be real with you. I did not like it either. What I really, more than the laughing on So to give you context of what Bro 337 is talking about, you see a conversation with Frank Wilson. Looks like he's telling Garrett he's getting benched. He goes to the chair. He sits down. He starts laughing. This is what pisses me off more than the sitting and laughing part. Is Michael Van Buren needs you, bud. He needs you. You got to be a teammate there. You see the TV copy where he walks over to Patrick Kelly, who also is going to be fired. I mean, his dad just got fired. I'm sure he's not going to stay on the next staff. He's over there laughing on the sidelines with Patrick Kelly. The guy's dad just got fired. And they're sitting there laughing with one another. That pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end. To no end. Did my mouse just stop working all of a sudden? That won't be good at all. There we go. Bro 337, I know Sloan is smiling somewhere. I'm sure he is. I'm sure BK is too. General Grievous with a $2 super chat says God is not an LSU fan. No, he's an LSU baseball fan, though. He's an LSU baseball fan. Frank Castle with a $2 super chat says the story of the season is too little, too late, no doubt. And bad decision making. No doubt, Frank. No doubt. David Carr with a $5 super chat says, if Michael Van Buren would have been named the starter and prepared for 2 weeks, they might have been better on offense. I agree. I don't think that you can bench Garrett personally. I don't think it'd be your first move. I would have moved a lot quicker. But, I mean, he didn't play bad to start, really. But there's no way that we're watching the same game if you don't think that MVB should be the starter moving forward. We don't watch the same game. We don't. Marshall Childs became a member of the YouTube channel. Marshall is, if I'm not mistaken, a A&M fan. So we got an A&M subbing to the channel. Tina Trotter became a member of the YouTube channel along with Andrew. Thank you all for becoming members of the YouTube channel. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. To all of those who are not members, we put content on the YouTube channel, members-only content. We talked about this for the last 2 weeks, that Garrett was more than likely going to get benched. It's the reason why there has not been a video out there about it, because it was coming. Pause. But it was. Frank Castle with a $10 super chat says, not starting Michael Van Buren sooner is unacceptable. I agree. A disgusting and inexcusable display of malpractice. BK's fireable sin, number 51, was not starting Michael Van Buren after Ole Miss after halftime. Dude should have been QB1 from months ago. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And me and Frank don't agree on a lot of stuff, but I agree. I thoroughly agree. I mean, Nuss has just not been great this year. And guys, quite honestly, I don't think that this quarterback room, and I'm going to put them all together, and I don't think this wide receiver room worked enough during the offseason. I mean, listen, I'll just tell you the truth. I heard rumblings throughout the entire summer about them not putting the work in that they needed to put in. All of them. You can't be elite and you can't be good and not put work in. BK, you said, oh, they've been working all summer. How would you know? You probably were at the beach. Victor the third with a $5 super chat says the offense is broken. I don't think it matters who is in there. You're probably right, but I do think that Michael Van Buren gives you the best opportunity to win. But you're right, it probably doesn't matter. Malcolm McKay with the best super chat of the night. He's not wrong. Do us a favor. There's a lot of you in here who have not hit that like button. Dude, guys, it just helps me. If you're watching this long into the show, it helps me. And it helps the channel. Hit that subscribe button too. So Malcolm with the best super chat of the night. Yes, hit the like and subscribe. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, what's most concerning is that everyone but the coaching staff seem to know this. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure that they're trying to give Garrett a chance, but that chance got squandered. It got squandered. I would have gone to it a lot sooner. Victor the Third says Keys is an old school linebacker, not a hybrid. They certainly attacked him in coverage. And I mean, you're gonna have to take care of that somehow, some way. But they went after him in coverage a lot. Lawson Howard with a $5 super chat says, Blake, you're killing me with the cha-cha slide. Michael Van Buren gives us all relief because he runs. Wish he played earlier in the game and season. Wonder why not. Let's attack the first thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that comes to mind when you keep throwing these screens. We're going to keep calling it the cha-cha. So from every post game from here on out, if there's a screen, I'm going to say cha-cha left, cha-cha middle, cha-cha right. Freeze! Everybody clap your hands. And then you'll drop it. So, guys, they didn't throw a lot of screens with Michael Van Buren in. That's a Garrett thing. I don't get it. Andrew Lala with a $20 super chat says, I like the effort. D looked great. Michael Van Buren looked calm. Made great reads. Play calling was dog shit. This offensive line is really, really, really bad. Agree with you on all those. Do you see this a lack of development, or did we just miss that bad in recruiting? We missed that bad in recruiting on the offensive line. We missed that bad. And you didn't develop. Yeah, I mean, Brad Davis – I mean, look, man, it is a massive fail. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to say the player's name because he's still technically playing, but you'll pick up what I'm putting down. I said this at the time, and I have not personally talked a lot about Brad Davis. LSU a couple of years ago took an offensive lineman out of high school. And the player went to spring football. After spring football, he was told that he needed to hit the portal. I mean, it's Big Hoss Joe Cryer. I'll tell you it is. It doesn't matter. The offensive line community and world did not, from a perception standpoint, like that move at all. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not saying teams blackballed you, but I know for a fact that teams negatively recruited you really bad along the offensive line, especially in the interior, when they said to high school recruits, hey, dog, this kid committed at a high school and they already pushed him out for another player. What will they do for you? By the way, that kid's a Louisiana kid. You know what you did a really bad job of along the offensive line? Letting people walk out the door that had no business walking out the door. Too late to pay Zalance Hurd now. Alexander Taylor with a $2 super chat says no Trey'Dez Green targets until the fourth quarter. He did have one. He had one until the last one in the fourth quarter, or the second one in the fourth quarter that he dropped. The fade route that he had to break up in the first half. But yeah, how does that happen? How does that happen? Your best player's got to get the football, man. Malcolm McKay says we needed another review, Blake. Yeah, we did. God, every time we got positive plays, I felt like they reviewed it. Andrew Jordan says calls, ? With a massive $50 super chat. If we can get through the rest of these super chats, I mean, I don't want to be here for that long. Maybe we'll get to some. Yeah. I mean, you sent $50 in. Maybe I should do it now. Yeah, if we get through these, we'll get through them. We'll get to them. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. So since you sent it in, we'll try to get to a couple phone calls here. Mr. Terps with a $2 super chat says Michael Van Buren should start the rest of the year. I agree. I humbly agree. Adam with a $5 super chat says Nuss is just Miles Brennan, but a Crocs guy instead of flip-flops. # get Gordon. Boy, this is petty. You want to talk about petty? So what is Adam referring to? Adam is referring to a podcast with Garrett Nussmeier and Gordon McKernan during camp. And Garrett is asked about what all he learned from Jaden Daniels. And Gordon said, dude, that guy was just a different person. Like he just worked his ass off. Like he was a different human being. And without missing a beat, Garrett Nussmeier said, I don't need to be in the facility at 5 a.m. I want to sleep. I'll get in there. I'll wake up about 9 o'clock, so which means he's probably getting to the facility about 10. And he said the quarterback that he played with that he learned the most from was Miles Brennan in that interview. So you have been around a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And the guy that you learned the most from was the guy that quit, that Jaden Daniels retired. Maybe you should learn more from from Jaden Daniels. He beat you out too, big guy. So if you want to know what he's referring to, that is what he's referring to, meaning Adam in the super chat. No, Garrett, you got to show up at the building at 6 a.m. to get to work. You're getting paid 7 figures. Guys, here's another thing. You benched a 7-figure quarterback tonight. Oh, didn't even think about this. You benched a 7-figure quarterback tonight. Christian Wheeler with a $5. So, hold on. You paid Garrett Nussmeier over 7 figures to stare down Xavier Thomas. A lot of quarterbacks that you could pay half that would be better. You just saw one. Christian Wheeler with a $5 super chat says the real question is what would our season have looked like with Michael Van Buren if he would have started after the Ole Miss loss? It's a great question. What does it look like moving forward? Going to find out. General Grievous with a $2 super chat says if Michael Van Buren stays, do we roll with him? I don't know, man. We got so many other things we got to figure out first. Who's your head coach? Mainly. I don't know. Like this, just if it's Lane Kiffin, does he roll with him? I don't know. I think Lane Kiffin can roll out with a grandma in a wheelchair and get better production. Jay Smith, 4590 with a $5 super chat says, haven't seen this an LSU offense this bad since 2012 title game versus Bama. Yeah, I mean, that team didn't score this much, but they actually got past the 50-yard line. Broad 337 with a $2 super chat says, I'm emailing Cash Patel about these refs, bro. They were bad. They were very bad. But they've been bad. SEC officiating is very bad. And Greg Sankey will do nothing about it. Because what's he going to do? Guys, he's got insurance salesmen calling games. And I'm not joking about the insurance salesman. Your far side judge tonight on your sidelines an insurance salesman. I'm not joking. Very wealthy insurance salesman, but nevertheless an insurance salesman. General Grievous with a $5 super chat says, we just had Jaden work himself to the bone, and now everyone's just slacking off. The blueprint was there. So stupid. Yeah, Jaden worked his ass off. And listen, now that gloves are kind of coming off here, I have a very good relationship with them. Very good. Very good relationship with them. And let me just tell you this. And I say them, meaning his dad, his mom, him. Let me just tell you this. That you were never, ever going to get Jaden Daniels to go to anything if he hadn't put the work in first. Wasn't happening. Bro, hold on. Y'all know that quick story. One morning I thought LSU had practice at 7. I misread it. It was at 9. This is 3 years ago. And I got there at 7. So I'm like, oh, I'm not staying around. I went and got breakfast. Jaden's car was already there. Him, Malik, Brian Thomas, and I want to say Logan Diggs, when I'm leaving, are sweating their asses off, walking out of the building, like going to their car. They had been there for a hot minute. So, nevertheless, that's the truth. Everyone do us a favor and subscribe. Let's take some phone calls here. 225-435-9387. We'll take some phone calls. Just a couple here. 225-435-9387. That is the phone number to call. If you want to call into the show, that's the number to call into. But 225-435-9387. We'll take a couple here. You on the phone with Blake Ruffino? This is the AYS postgame show. Is this Dakota? Let me hold on 1 second, Dakota. Hold on 1 second. I got to do something. Hold on. Pause. I forgot to do this. Pause. All right, hold on. So that the callers can hear the caller. All right. Dakota's on the line. What'd you think of the game?
You can hear me good, right?
I can, but I had to make sure that they could. Go ahead.
Honestly, I was at the game today. I was there in person. Well, I got to meet Jacob Hester, which was kind of cool. But
very nice.
The game, yes. Otherwise, the game though, I was actually very impressed with our defense. I thought they actually was the reason we were in this game. But like you said, I didn't really like the cha-cha slide that much. I thought it was too much for me. I mean, Nussmeier, I think he's just, it's not his time no more. I think Van Buren gave us a spark. I know he wasn't perfect, but he gave us a spark that we need, and and I thought our fans came out and showed out,
Yeah, he definitely gave you a spark that didn't produce touchdowns. It's going to be interesting to see where they go moving forward. I think they need to stay with him and see what happens here.
Other than that, when I left the game, there was an Alabama chick. She told me to have a safe trip back home to Louisiana, and I told her, I said, well, I'm actually going back to Alabama, but I'll get your phone number and we can call.
Oh, shit. Dakota, you just found an Alabama fan?
I don't know. I mean, they got some nice women down there in Alabama, so.
Dakota, I'm hanging up on you. You can't date an Alabama fan.
I don't know. I don't know, man. They must have got me. They must have put something in my drink. I don't know. They be thinking me talk crazy.
Well, you call into the show and talk crazy, but hey, love is love. Go find you some love. I appreciate it.
I love you, Blake.
All right. Don't love me. You love the woman. But I ain't marrying no Alabama fan. Screw that shit. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, this is Daryl from 318 Haynesville, Louisiana. What's going on, bro?
What'd you think of the game, Daryl?
Man, I think Nuss's problem, he's living on too much of last year. He thinks he's got it made, and then it failed. He's not really trying because he thinks he's done enough to get in now. But I'm like you. I think Michael needs to start the rest of the year. And this guy come in and took 75 plays. He played his ass off tonight.
Yeah,
I know he had a false start first play, but he just come in the game cold. He blocked his ass off tonight. He needs to start next week.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Ori Williams did a lot better of a job than what Weston Davis did. You're spot on with that one, buddy.
Yeah, I do too. And I think next year they need to move Karen to guard, find a good left tackle, and but they need to go get a couple quarterbacks in the pool. That's for sure. I believe that.
Yeah, I agree. And look, they're going to have to move Karras. He is a guard, like you just said. I mean, you're putting him in a really tough spot. Got to get better with jumping off sides, though. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. And also, one more thing I'll let you go. It's Chris Hilton. I think he got his butt up, Flo J's butt. His mind ain't on football.
Well, they don't play him. He had a big catch tonight, though.
Yeah, he did tonight, but he's not. I don't know. I'm glad Kelly's gone, man. He wasn't a good fit. And I don't think we're going to get Lane Kiffin. I think they go through Lane, get that boy down there. I just don't believe Lane's coming. I'll hang up and listen, buddy.
All right, thank you, Daryl.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, who's everyone wants the next head coach? I bet y'all all call in if y'all do. Who y'all want y'all the next head coach? I see. You can take 2 seconds. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do you have the pleasure of talking to?
This is Connor from 225.
What do you think of the game, Connor?
Man, really liking Harlan Berry.
Yeah.
Really like Harlan Berry. He's got great vision, man.
Should give him the ball more. How we find ways not to give him the ball more is completely idiotic, but here we stand.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to throw running back screens instead of them wide receiver delayed screens up the middle.
I agree. I think it's idiotic. I think you need to give Harlan Berry the ball in the pass game, too. I agree with you. I mean, look, they didn't really do them when Michael Van Buren came in the game, which if they continue not to do it, I just asked the question, is that because they don't trust Garrett? I mean, you have to ask yourself, if Michael Van Buren goes the rest here and starts the rest of these games and they're not really throwing screens like that anymore, no one on the staff, did no one trust Garrett? And so you're right. The cha-chas really, the cha-cha calls really bother me, but why not do it with Van Buren? You didn't do it again. Why? That would be my question, Connor.
I think I think the coaching staff kind of saw taking Nuss out at halftime.
Stalled, you said?
No, I think they're ready for it. I think they went into the game kind of thinking that already.
Yeah, I mean, I forget the
like on the broadcast, you could.
Yeah, go
they're
ahead.
They're showing the coaches on the sideline. They just look like, all right, we gotta change it.
Yeah, and they reported that. I mean, they said during the game that Frank had told them before the game that, you know, if they couldn't score, that they were going to go to him. And I mean, he basically told us that this week. And look, you had to make a spark, and you did.
Yeah, and Van Buren's got all the tools, man. He's got everything.
It's the biggest tool of being able to run, or the willingness to run, I should say.
Yeah. And I don't know what's up with what Nussmeier was going through. It's like this year he just stopped going through reads, and he just shot down like every chance that he had to be good.
It's what happens when you don't prepare, buddy. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line. All right, before we get you out of here, who do you want as your next head coach?
My number one would be Kiffin, obviously. If not, I would go Dillingham.
I like Dillingham. I like it a lot. Thank you for the call, bud.
All right, see you.
I like Dillingham a lot. He told his players he wasn't leaving, but according to an ex-post, Kiffin signed a 4-year extension. He can't. 4-year deals at Mississippi, you can only have 4-year deals. So he can't sign a 4-year extension. Let's see. I don't think he's leaving either, personally. Let's see. Florida. Lane Kiffin retweeted Florida benching DJ Lagway from Mel Jones. That's really interesting. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Trey Bielan, this is Trey.
Trey, what'd you think of the game?
Man, oh my God. Terrible. Left tackle, terrible. Terrible. He had more calls than the whole game, literally.
Yeah, it was very.
I felt like they should have used Trey Green a little bit more. I felt like started up the game instead of dealing with all of the politics. Van Buren should have been in out the gate.
I agree.
The defense, Blake Baker got to do a better call. I didn't understand it halftime, right before the halftime. Why were we even playing up like that? I felt like Manson Delaney should have he had his man by himself. Why wasn't AJ Halsey on top of the top, and we just giving up everything over top? That soft man coverage, that's not us.
You blitzed.
Yeah, that's not us.
Yeah, you blitzed. I mean, listen, I got to be real with you, Trey. I mean, they gave up 3 points in the second half. I mean, this offense is going to score touchdowns on you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, they're going to score. You had to know going into that. I thought they played great tonight. I mean, I get what
they did. Don't get me wrong. The whole season, really this whole season been the offensive side. True, no. I mean, we not just going to have a shutout defense every game because, I mean, we is in the SEC, you know. We is in the SEC, but it's like, we got to get some help somewhere.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, to that point of what you're talking about, let's walk through that whole thing, Trey. So Garrett Nussmeier misses Xavier Thomas on a dagger route or a dig route.
Yes.
You want to call it.
Yes. 15-yard dig route, wide open. He should know with his route. That's coaching right there, though. He should know his what's called. Then I think after that play was when he took the little sack, right?
No. It wasn't that one. It was when, if I'm not mistaken, he missed a throw. He had an overthrow and then he missed a dagger route. Both of them should have been completed. So the sack comes in the start of the second half where he run and then he got sacked and he got benched.
Oh my God.
So
let me ask you a question. Check this out.
In that regard, though, really quickly. If he hits that, they don't score because they don't have enough time left. So it gets to a point where, I mean, that doesn't happen if he hits it. But go ahead. What you got? Okay, how you feel about him benching Weston Davis, put in Ori Williams, man? Because we wouldn't get no pressure coming off the right side, literally the rest of the game. Yeah, Ori did great. Ori did great. I mean, I think it's different replacing an offensive lineman than replacing your starting quarterback. Look, you're paying the kid 7 figures, and whether we want to like it or not, I'm sure that there's –
There you go.
There's a lot of people that don't want to talk about that, but you're paying the kid $1 million plus to be who you thought he was going to be. And it's going to take a lot, Trey, to pull his ass, and it took a lot. I mean, look, brother, you're 10 games into this thing now, and it took all this to pull him.
Man, my feeling been hurt the whole season. The whole season. Coming in it, I'm like, we spent $18 million on this roster, and you mean to tell me we can't score? And we
$18 million just in NIL.
Yes.
Or
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, this is a $30 million roster in total to go 6 and.
It's like, I don't know what. It's like everything just since the NIL been in effect. It's like LSU just went soft ever since 22, really 2020.
Yeah, I will. You were right. That 22 team was pretty physical. Like with Anthony.
Yeah, that was pretty physical. It was defensive.
They were pretty physical. But you're right. They kind of went soft. But you had some top shelf dudes now.
You did. But it's man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's the coaching. It's coaching.
Yeah.
Point blank period. It's coaching. It's no way like the sack. This is what threw me off. Compared to from Nussmeier from last year to this year, the Ole Miss game when we played against Ole Miss, true enough, we was up and down. But you seen the mechanic Nussmeier had. I don't know I don't know if he trusts his O line or not. But it's like I don't know what it's like. His mechanics is off.
I don't think Garrett Nussmeier's trust level is like after you've been out in the club all night and you went to Taco Bell at 2:30 and you like, man, if I let this thing rip, I might shit my pants.
Man, I was listening to the show earlier today, man. It's like I know what it takes to get to the next level. You got to do what Jay Name did. You got to do it. You got to build some type of chemistry. But my thing is, though, I look at it like, okay, if you know this your last year, why not give it your all? Why not give it your all? This is your last year. That goes from, man, there's so much I can just, oh my God, the blocking, tight ends, receiver. What the, y'all motherfucker, screw my leg, but y'all are 6'6", 6'7", and you mean y'all can't block? Y'all can't block with a lick ball sharp. Oh my God. You left Oklahoma to come to LSU to do what?
Get paid.
And Bubba Dog voice, trash. Trash. Gotta do better. Trey Green, you my dog and all. Blocking, trash. You one-dimensional. I'm talking about you supposed to be grinding. You 6'7", 240, almost 250. You gotta be a dog, man. You gotta be a dog. And Garrett Nussmeier, I just think it felt. I don't know if it was the play calling. Do they have Joe Sloan leftover playbook or what? But these wide receiver screens, come on, dog. Do like Coach O said, man. Spread the ball and put the ball in the playmaker's hand, bro. It's a copycat game. It's a copycat game. It's a copycat game.
Yeah, players over plays, man.
That's it. You got all this speed and all this talent. What is it showing? Then it's like we running the same old play. I'm at home. I'm at work right now. I work at Mercedes. I'm sitting on the phone looking at it right now, just watching it. I'm like, oh, yeah, we finna run it. We gonna run it. We finna run it. It's noticeable. We run the same play. When the receiver going motion, he motioning in the backfield. It's finna be a run play. About to be a run play. Now, the play action, I was kind of feeling that play action. But, man, I don't think we got the personnel for nothing like that.
No, we don't.
Not on the O-line, no, sir. And they come for coaching. It ain't no such thing as we ain't getting the talent. You got screw my language. You got 4 and 5 stars on that O-line, bro. That ain't no reason for you to say we ain't got the talent. You getting the number one players in certain states. Kerry's Turner, number one player coming out of Arkansas. And he woofing like that.
Yeah, and he's out of position, too.
He is. Man, this is my thing here. You know football, you know football. If you a dog, you a dog.
Right.
You come to LSU, you a dog. You don't ever say much about it. You a dog. When you come here, you a dog. It is no, man, we shouldn't have no. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. We supposed to be the Texas A&M right now.
Correct. But
we supposed to be that Texas A&M team right now across the board. If beginning of the season, that's what we're supposed to be right now.
Undefeated. Explosive. Offensively, you got all this speed, man. That's what I'm saying. You got all this speed. The personnel was just messed up. Play calling was just berserk. And it's just too much politics going on. What happened to Teron, for instance, the man-child getting in? What happened to him playing? It's a great question. Gotta ask. We ain't got no spot. It wasn't no spot. I'm thinking, listen, after the Florida game, this is my whole thing. I was having a little back and forth argument with my brother about this situation. I said, because he liked to talk about the defense and certain plays. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, defense give up a couple plays or whatever. But you got to think about what Blake Baker did when he came over to LSU, when he came back.
We went from being ranked the 131st team in 2023. That's supposed to be the championship year, but that failed. Okay, then he come over in 24. We ranked 131st, all the way down to top 70. Now this year we damn near top 25. And you want to talk? You want to sit on the phone and talk about the defense? Then you go to the Florida game. We had 5 turnovers, and we only had 1 touchdown off of them 5 turnovers, and that was a pick 6. And you want to talk about the defense? Then you go to the Ole Miss game, and you talk about what the defense, because we ain't been too good with these scrambling quarterbacks. True enough, but you got to think about it. We made them turn the ball over twice. Really would have been three. It would have been 3 turnovers. They wouldn't have called that pick 6 back from DJ Pickett, because there was not no pass offense. I mean, the defensive passing in film. Then you got PJ Woodland with the pick. Then you got AJ Hawson when he knocked the ball out, and we recovered the fumble. That was 3 turnovers. Did we score off any of them 3 turnovers? No. So they're right there. They're 21 point left on the board. Then we made Ole Miss offense. Lane Kiffin punt the ball at least 3 or 4 times. We put the offense in the position to win the ball game or take over. Then we were talking about that 4th and 7 they converted. And you want to talk about that little one play. I know defense win championship, but defense win the game, but at the same time, bro, we got to have help.
I mean, Arkansas put 40+ points on that.
40, that's what I'm saying, without Pittman.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Bob Petrina is an offensive minded coach, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Then Joe Sloan, he go with that meme that's going around with that ugly look. He looking with the meme. And that's the only picture I can see. Like, what is he saying? Man, you know what I would have did, man? Me as the offensive coordinator, you know, I would have went back at that 2020, that 2019 offense, and that 2020 offense from Alabama. Steve Sarkisian off. I would have been copy and pasting all type of plays and all type of exotic looks, bro. That's what I would have been. My whole game plan that summer from Joe Sloan, when I had got the offensive coordinator actual play calling job, was I'm finna go copycat all these plays right here and install into this offense right here. Cause ain't no way. And then Ohio State did the same thing we did last year. Spent all that money. But you know what Ryan Day did though? He made sure his offense was good, he made sure his defense was good. That's the difference in Ohio State and LSU.
I mean, look, we've been talking to you for 12 minutes. I agree with everything you said. Trey, I appreciate the phone call, brother.
Yes, sir. You take care, man.
Everything Trey said was accurate and right. All right. Super chat here. Cole says, but as long as we graduate champions, what championship? The Independence Bowl in Ratchet City. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Not good, man. Not good. Could have won the game night. Should have won the game tonight, and you didn't. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.